1, 2, 3.
Oh, I hope it doesn't rain. On today's episode of Free Unsolicited Cooking Knowledge, I will be planting my garden boxes. If you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because I'm what? The missing plant in your garden. As you saw, today we are planting my garden boxes. I know I've done previous episodes where I have planted in 2 of them. I've done the beets episode, and I think in my farm tour farming update video, I showed you that I did plant some strawberries in another one. I'm gonna show you kind of how I'm going to thin out the beets, and then I'm gonna show you some other things that I'm planting in these boxes for the season. Anyway, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get into it. Okay, I just wanted to show you what the beets look like. There are some tomato seeds that germinated in this box from last season. I'm kind of shocked. Also, there's another box just full of tomato seeds that have germinated. But basically, I'm going to de-weed these tomatoes from the garden, and also this weed, I forget, the lambs, quarters, something like that. One of my subscribers did mention that there are a lot of benefits and stuff, and I've been doing some light research on this type of weed. But I think this season I'm just going to pull it, de-weed the beets and the other gardens from it, and then I think maybe going into next season, maybe I will, knowing that it grows so like amazingly out here, I may do a video on harvesting and maybe actually using it in the way it's meant for. But until then, I'm just cleaning up my gardens so that it doesn't choke out my beets. Just a side note, I'm a huge fan of Bath & Body Works, and when I was out with Michelle the other day, we went to Bath & Body Works and I wanted to smell the tomato vine soap, and it does not smell like tomatoes. Not like, this is like kind of what I expected it to smell like. It doesn't. It's like nice, but it's not what I expected. This is what it looks like de-weeded. Now it's time to thin out the beets. By thinning the beets, what I mean is kind of cutting. We don't want to pull because we don't want to disturb the roots that have already been established. We're going to just kind of snip each beet. You want to have your beet plants that are remaining about 3 inches apart. This is supposed to be done when they were in the 3-inch to 4-inch range as far as height goes. We're past that, so cutting it was okay because like I said, we're not disturbing the roots. Anyway, let's try this. All right, what you're gonna do, oh my god, this is harder than I think. Got a weed there. All right, oh, and a tomato. See, I'm just terrible at this, guys. All right, okay, there's like these little guys in between. I'm just gonna snip that at the root, okay? They're very tiny. Oh, jeez. Let's see what's happening here. They're also very entangled. Okay, I'm gonna snip this one, get this one out of the way. Okay, snip. And this one. All right, see, we have good even spacing. It didn't rain last night, so I have to water these. All right, moving on. There's another little one. Keep this one. I'm gonna pull this weed. There we go. And there's another weed here. Look at these little sons of bitches. Okay. I think that may be too close, but whatever. Is hard. I feel bad. Like, I'm just killing my babies. I really hope these have a good yield. Also, I do have to water them because I really don't want them to bolt, meaning they'll go to seed if they are under conditions of dry and like heat. So, all right, this is what we got. They are thinned out. That's how much we have left over. So I'm actually gonna put that in a bowl, and I'm actually gonna try and make that for dinner tonight. Taste it. Don't want to waste it. Ooh, that rhymed. So I actually took my little micro beet greens. I had to bring them inside because I forgot one part of my class was when you're harvesting softer lettuces or microgreens or things like that. It should be done really early in the morning, and right now it's like 10. Also, it's starting to get really warm out here, which is awesome. I'm so excited for summer, but also that they need to be kind of washed immediately in cold water or placed in cold water because they will start to wilt and, you know, die down, I guess. So basically I brought them in, I rinsed them in cold water, I put them in a bowl of cold water and I put it in the fridge. I plan to either add it to my salad tonight or maybe fry some up with some garlic and olive oil. I'm still undecided, but I'm kind of excited to try that. I'm just gonna cut in here and show you that this is what they look like. I ended up frying them with a little bit of olive oil, fresh garlic, and some hot chili peppers, also salt and pepper, and they were phenomenal. I cannot explain it. It was just a chef kiss beyond chef kisses. Anyway, moving on. We are at the strawberry patch here. Not too many weeds. I'm basically just going to pull up the dirt, pull out these little weeds, and call it a day for them. There's not much to do here, but they are growing. I'm excited, and I still have been lazy and I haven't put any straw down. This is the finished box. We're gonna ignore that box because it has to be torn down. But yeah. Okay, this box obviously needs some serious de-weeding. Obviously we have that lambs, whatever. And these are all the little tomatoes that germinated. But I don't think they'll do much because they're overcrowded. It will just be too crazy of a scenario. Also because this has been planted with tomatoes for several years. One of the things I learned in schooling is crop rotation. You want to, every couple of years or every other year, wherever you plant one plant, you want to switch it out with another plant. So this one's going to be peppers this year, and then my peppers one is going to be tomatoes. And this was herbs last year, and I think I'm gonna do cucumber and zucchini. I'm still undecided. But anyway, I'm going to clean this up. And don't mind my dad in the back. He's finishing the 2 rows, so we don't have to do it by hand to finish planting the plants. Now that we have cleaned up all the boxes, it is time for planting. These are the leftover plants. I left a few count from when we planted back there. Mainly this is going to be the pepper plant box. So I have 4 Corno di Toro, meaning like bullhorn peppers. They're the long sweet peppers, the ones that you really find in jars of roasted red peppers. And then in here, I'm gonna do about 4 of the bell sweet peppers. So there's going to be 8 plants total. Now I know you see a lot of seedlings for peppers. Obviously this one's just dying. Ooh, it is what it is. That's like the one thing of like being a farmer is like you're just going to lose some. And it's not a big deal because you plant hundreds of them. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to show you the process that I do for my boxes. So basically I'm going to dig a little hole. Dig a little hole. I'm gonna do the holes first so I can see the spacing. Okay, that's too close to the edge. All right, maybe here, here, here. There we go. These have been soaked in water earlier this morning. All right, I'm gonna plant it fairly deep, and I'm just gonna cover that pepper around the base. And I'm just going to twist and press. Smooth out the dirt. And voila! One planted. Alright, moving on to the next one. Same thing. Break up any of the dirt kind of around it. That's a rock. And then press and twist. This old manure. If you're a horse girl, you know that touching manure it's not a big deal. Okay, moving on to the other 2. There. Okay. pull from the base. Beautiful. This is what we look like. I'm gonna water them after I'm done planting all my boxes. Okay, so this is just how I do it, and this is how I do it for my boxes. So about 2 years ago, I put a really high quality soil in. I did 1 season, not adding any fertilizer, anything. My plants were beautiful. So second year, I added a little bit more manure, and it still had organic matter from the season before because I just turn over what I have planted into the soil. It breaks down over the winter, and it adds those extra nutrients, kind of like compost mixed in with the manure. But the organic material and everything, I believe that the soil is still a high quality soil. So I know in the garden you saw that we added the 20-20-20 after we plant. I'm not going to do that. I think that this soil is nutrient enough. If I'm finding that my plants are not growing as well, or they're like kind of not as, luscious, if you will, within the first couple of weeks of planting, then yes, I will go in with a fertilizer. I believe each plant, like peppers, they're similar to tomatoes as far as fertilizers go. I'm not exactly sure. I have to look back on my notes, but I believe that I will just add it. If not, I honestly have faith that the soil is in good condition, unlike the field where, yes, it's been resting, but there hasn't been much manure or organic material. Yes, he turned it over, but it hasn't been long enough for it to break down enough to get the nutrients it needs. So that's why we did that out there. But here, I think my peppers are going to be great. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's move on to the tomatoes. Okay, I believe these 4 are the cherry, no, 100s? 1 millions? I forget. I did a whole entire herbarium project on it. I think they're 100, sweet 100s, I think. No, sweet 1 millions. These are sweet 1 millions, okay? We'll figure it out. And then these are Roma tomatoes. Have the 10 beautiful tomatoes. Okay, now that the 10 tomatoes are planted, I'm going to put cages around each one. This just helps with growing upwards and stability because these are higher up. They will be more affected by the wind than versus in the field. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. There we go. We got one. All right, the tomato cages are in, and it is time to plant our final garden box with the zucchini and cucumbers. So for the cucumbers, I get like the little dill pickling cucumbers. I love them, and last year they got pretty big. They got the size of like field cucumbers. I don't mind that. I love them. So I have 4 of these. I'm probably gonna plant 3. We will see, just because like there's not enough room for them to spread. But I had about 6 of them in a box last year, and they did very well. And then I have, I think in total, 3 zucchini plants. I'm gonna do 3 and 3. I think I'll leave the 4th one. I might put that in the greenhouse. I'm not sure, or out in the field. So I'm going to make 6 holes, and then I will plant them. Oh, also side note, I never mentioned, this is my sage plant. I decided not to uproot it last year. They are a perennial, and which I'm pretty sure they're perennial. It came back. But I'm gonna keep that there because I love having sage. And if you are a witchy girly, you know what I'm saying. All right? Okay. looks like. This one's a little weepy. I'm gonna have to get some water to it stat. All right, now it's time to water the beautiful plants. My hose has a hole in it, so don't judge me. I'll eventually get another 200-foot hose, but here we are. I hope I taught you something or inspired you in some way. I have been planting garden boxes like this. Just Ichabod. I have been planting my garden boxes like this for the last 7 years, 2 years on this property, and then the 5 years previous at our old house. I've done the exact same thing and I've had such a great yield with my vegetables, so I'm not too worried about what this year is going to grow. I'm super excited to do a lot of farm to table meals with what I have planted in these boxes, and hopefully my zucchini survive because the one might die. Just saying. Anyway, farming. See ya.
Bye.